There is a young man named Arav sitting on a weathered park bench. He stares straight ahead, completely motionless. If you walked past him right now, you would probably think he is just enjoying a quiet afternoon. Anyone looking at his life on paper would see he is thriving. He secured a spot at a top-tier college. His family is beaming with pride. Outwardly, he is a picture of stability. Inwardly, however, he is completely hollow. The cause of that emptiness arrived quietly on a Tuesday night. After 5 years of shared secrets and future planning, his girlfriend Zara ended their relationship via text message. She had met someone else, someone settled. Her final message was brief, detached, and ended with 4 words: "Love isn't enough." Then she blocked his number. There was no screaming or dramatic argument. The worst part of her departure was the absolute calm with which she executed it. The line simply went dead. That lack of closure, the sudden absence of her voice, created an immediate and unresolvable void in his daily life. A sudden departure like this does more than remove a person from a room. It collapses the entire future the survivor had built their identity around. In an instant, the world is stripped of its rhythm and meaning. In the weeks that followed, Arav slipped into a mechanical routine. He attended his B.Tech lectures, he submitted assignments, he replied to messages from his friends, but he was operating like a ghost. His body went through the motions of a college student while his mind remained trapped inside a memory. He attempted every standard method of distraction. He lifted weights at the gym, played video games until dawn, and scrolled endlessly through social media. None of it worked. These tactics fail because they are designed to outrun a tangible threat. Arav was trying to outrun an absence. Eventually, the stale routine becomes physically unbearable. Sitting in a crowded lecture hall on a breezy Thursday, the air feels too thin. Arav stands up, leaves his belongings, and walks out of the building mid-lecture, stepping out of the shadows and into the blinding sunlight. Extreme grief often hides behind a mask of normalcy. It doesn't look like shattered glass or loud sobbing. It looks like a perfectly intact, completely empty room. His aimless walking leads him away from the campus and toward an old public park, the kind of place with cracked stone pathways, faded swings, and long shadows stretching out under ancient trees. The rushed pace of the city vanishes here. Sitting beneath a wide neem tree is a young woman. She is singing. It is a live, wistful, ancient melody that drifts through the branches. It is the very first thing to pierce through Arav's emotional fog in months. Drawn by a sound that feels older than the park itself, he sits on a nearby bench to listen. When the song ends, she looks over at him. She doesn't offer pity or polite small talk. Instead, she immediately identifies the exact weight he is carrying. She tells him he looks like someone trying not to remember something. She observes him with the calm clarity of a witness who has seen this specific kind of pain many times before. This diagram shows a cross-section of a seed trapped between heavy stone blocks. The girl uses the metaphor of a banyan tree to explain his suffering. A massive tree does not grow strong in soft, comfortable soil. It requires extreme pressure, darkness, and heavy stone to force its roots downward into the earth. The crushing weight of abandonment serves a specific purpose. This heavy stone is the necessary environmental pressure required to build deep, immovable character. The girl leans back and tells him a story. She speaks of an ambitious spice merchant who had a devoted wife. She lit lamps for his safe return and prayed for his success. Yet the merchant abandoned her for a powerful noblewoman, claiming he wanted more from life. He left behind a heavy karmic dent. The wife died alone, clutching his portrait. The merchant, the girl explains, was eventually reborn in a different city, with a different name. In this new life, he fell deeply in love, and eventually that woman left him, using the exact words he had used centuries before. Love isn't enough. The weight of that repetition hangs in the air. The story suggests that these universal patterns of attachment and sudden loss aren't just bad luck. They are the soul's way of forcing a final reckoning with the nature of attachment. Against this cosmic backdrop, Arav remembers a painful artifact, a folded page from Zara's hidden diary he had read by accident years ago. In it, she prayed for him. She wrote, Please don't let me disappear. Let him win his battles. Zara faced a crushing paradox. She genuinely loved him and wanted him to succeed in his life. But she also recognized a difficult truth. She could no longer provide her physical presence to ensure that happiness. Arav's unending heartbreak comes from his own refusal to acknowledge the transition. He is clinging fiercely to the memory of a love that was explicitly, consciously designed to leave him behind. Hearing the truth spoken aloud finally shatters his defenses. Sitting on the cracked stone, Arav buries his face in his hands and cries silently. The girl sits beside him, letting the tears fall, offering no empty reassurances. Once the tears subside, she introduces him to the concept of Bhakti. In this context, Bhakti is the spiritual act of offering love entirely without conditions. It is the ability to pour out devotion without demanding it be reciprocated, possessed, or validated by the other person. Reframing abandonment means understanding that loss provides space for love to transform. It forces the emotion to expand beyond physical possession. When someone leaves, taking external validation with them, you must intentionally fill that remaining empty space with your own complete, unwavering presence. The weight Arav carries is the sudden loss of a definition. He is grieving the version of himself that only existed while she was there. The air in the park feels lighter now. Arav looks down at the space beside him on the bench. The mysterious girl has placed a single, pristine blue lotus on the weathered stone. Before departing, she offers one final piece of clarity. Deep relational wounds are not meant to close immediately. They leave a permanent mark. But their ultimate purpose is to profoundly change the way you walk through the rest of your life. She walks into the trees, fading into the shadows of the park, leaving Arav entirely alone. Yet, for the very first time in months, the heavy numbness is finally gone, replaced by a deep, resonant peace. A fractured life creates space for a different kind of growth. The goal shifts from repairing the past to understanding the architecture of the break.